मेरा नाम है शाहिद इकबाल और मैं हूं होस्ट पाकिस्तानी अमेरिकन क्रिएटिव शो का। आज के एपिसोड में हम आपकी मुलाकात एक यूनिक सोशल मीडिया इन्फ्लुएंसर से करवाएंगे। उन्होंने बहुत कम वक्तों में मिलियंस ऑफ फॉलोअर्स को पाकिस्तान और ग्रीस के कल्चर से रोशनास कराया है। जी हाँ, तो आइए सुनते हैं CJG AKA चंद्रा की कहानी, चंद्रा की ज़बानी। हाँ, लेकिन हमारे चैनल को लाइक करना, सब्सक्राइब करना और बेल का आइकॉन दबाना ना भूलिए। Thank you, Chandra, for finally making to the studio.
Thank you for having me.
For all of our audiences who may not be familiar with Chandra, Chandra lives in New York, and this is her second trip to Houston for Indus Arts Council's 10-year anniversary, and she came here last week as well.
Yes.
And then finally 2 nights ago, so she could participate in the 10-year anniversary and gala that we celebrated last night. And,
so beautiful.
Chandra was a gracious host and an MC for the event along with Uzair Hassan. And now after the Angela is done, so we felt like that we bring Chandra to the studio and have everybody know about her. And as you can comment under the video, if you have any questions, comments, we would love to hear from that. So Chandra, as you know, in this Pakistani American creative show, we keep it very casual, very
Love
relaxed. It's a 3-part discussion or conversation. One is about your introduction, your background. The second is what you're doing these days. And then finally, where do you see yourself in the near future? So, without further ado, tell our audiences who Chandra Gibroni is and where did you start and where you are at the moment.
Okay, so for most of you who don't know me, my name is Chandra Giambrone. My middle name is Josette. It's actually French. And the username CJG are my initials, C, J, and G. Growing up, I had a South Asian heritage name, even though I'm not South Asian. And it confuses people, especially when I'm in shawarma kameez or have a tikka or I'm eating a samosa. People are like, well, are you sure you're not South Asian?
You're doing everything that...
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually pulled one over on my in-laws because when I came to the house, they were sold that I was Pakistani. Like, I walked in the door and it was Urdu and biryani and chai, and they were like, Adara, aja. And I'm like, what is going on? They bought me like suits. I was invited to all these events, and yeah, so it's very confusing. That's like the number one thing is when people follow me, there's this assumption that I am Pakistani, but I'm actually not. My children are 50% Pakistani, 25% Greek, and 25% Italian. There's German in there too.
Oh, wow.
But we're not going to get too
talk
technical.
about diversity, right? You got
yeah.
all the cultures.
Yeah, we're very diverse, and I proudly celebrate that diversity through the content. So we showcase fashion, art, language, lifestyle, travel. I do my best to balance it. It is a very tricky balancing act. The really amazing thing that I have as a common ground and a rooted ground is our deen. So that's like the one thing that we both have that's in common, and the children are also following.
Yes, and I think the more I got to know you, I realized that you have embraced Islamic values.
Yes.
and the religion. So with that much in your personality and the demanding, I would say, the expectation from the social media world that you very fluently, involved in, tell us some of the challenges they bring on a day-to-day basis about your identity on social media.
Yeah. So I would like to say that the most important thing for anyone who wants to put themselves out there is to really fully love yourself first and be confident in yourself, because you're putting yourself out there and the internet is a black hole and people will comment what they want when they want, and you have to have tough skin. That doesn't mean you can't set boundaries, but you have to understand that as a public figure, people will say what they want.
Oh yeah.
And you can hold someone's hand, you can't hold their mouth.
Even if you're holding the hand, they're still talking.
So they can say whatever they want. So it's very important for me to check in with myself and remind myself who I am. I like to do a why every month, where I reflect about why am I here? Why am I doing this? So if everything aligns with my why, I'm confidently moving in my work. So what I do full time is be myself. And that's the beauty of my platform, is I get to bring the best version of CJG to the public, to my community. I get to share about culture, language, art, travel, and lifestyle. And people love the children. Saban didn't speak in the beginning, so they all thought my husband was like, couldn't speak or something. I don't know, like he's more reserved. So they were like, we want to hear Saban Bhai speak. And I was like, so every time I go live, they'd be like, Urdu bolo, or Urdu bolo, or Punjabi bolo. And when he speaks, people like kind of lose their mind too, because he looks non-Pakistani, whatever that means. I don't know what Pakistanis are supposed to look like. Like
it's a
it's so diverse.
It's
yeah,
very diverse. I myself, being a Pakistani, didn't appreciate that as I was growing up. But now there are all colors, all ethnicities. Pakistan itself has like 25, 30 languages, you know. Our clothing is different, our way of understanding is different. We look different also. I mean, from the northern part of Pakistan to the southern city of Karachi. Right?
But that's the beauty of that diversity. I remember I learned so much about Pakistan just through textile. So I fell in love with fashion. But then I realized that the fashion was more than just glitz, glam, and color. It was historically rooted in the culture of these people in each region. Right? Like Balochi, is that how you say that?
Balochi, yes.
Balochi dresses are different. Silk screen is different from block print, and Kham is different. You have gota work, you have Kham work, you have gold thread work, you have it's all different. The different types of chiffon, the different like when you look back to your immersive fashion show with Huma and Amir Anand, it was phenomenal to see how she took the traditional and the modern and created this new trend.
Right.
And preserving that culture, but it's still new, but it's familiar. And that's the thing I love about Pakistani culture. And it resonates so well with me because I'm Italian and Greek. Family is like food and fun. And when I got to my big Pakistani family, it's food, it's fun, it's chai. Like my mother-in-law's love language is giving me like fresh cut fruit and like pratas or like mita pratas. Yeah, like that's her love language, and I appreciate her, and it's such a comfort. So that familiarity is really in the comfort of your food, your culture, your dress. Like I know my mother-in-law prefers shwar kameez because she's comfortable. That gives her that, it roots her. And I would probably have a big problem if someone ever had to say something about that, because essentially culture has to fight to be preserved. It does, because we are in this melting pot of influence where American ideas and ideals are pressured on everyone to kind of convert or reform. We don't have to. Nobody has to.
Absolutely. So from the influencing side of your work, give us our audiences some examples of a lot of times, good things fly by and happen, but what challenges have made you think about your strategy or your messaging? Has that moment has come before?
Not yet, but I will say, I have a little joke. It's like, you think you can hurt my feelings? I fight an algorithm. So the algorithm is literally the smartest thing I've ever had to challenge in my life, and I'm pretty intelligent, but I fight it every day. And there's a struggle to stay relevant. I'm not irrelevant, and I have to understand that my online presence doesn't define me as a human. So if I want to feel love from people, I go see a movie with my mom, I go to the diner with my kids, we eat some fun food, and we enjoy each other in real time. Social media, I cannot judge my life based on a number of likes and the reach. However, strategically, I have to look at numbers because that is my full-time career choice. So if I'm doing something right, it usually speaks for itself. And if something isn't getting a great response, I have to remember it's not personal. And the minute you take it personal, you're gonna lose. And it's unfortunate. And that's why when people are like, oh, it's so easy, it's really not.
No.
It's really not. People think that I have this glamorous life of just walking around and taking fancy pictures, but there's a lot of thought that goes into my content. It involves my family and my children, and if it doesn't involve them, I'm removing myself from them, and I'm the homemaker. So that's the beauty. Like, the path that I've carved out for myself allows me to grow my family, grow myself, and we're parallel to each other. And I'm always grateful for that.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, so right in the middle, to give our audiences a more sense of what Chandra is, what she likes, I'm going to ask you 5 questions that you have an option to say one or the other. So
we
right
should
off the bat,
chai.
Huh?
We should sip chai if you don't want to answer. Like the meme with Kermit. Did you see that Kermit meme?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. So for our audiences, so let's say biryani or burger.
Always biryani.
Always biryani.
As long as there's no aloo.
As long as there's no aloo. Wonderful,
yeah.
wonderful.
I don't know. It's too much for me.
Wonderful, wonderful. What about jeans or shalwar kameez?
Guys, shalwar kameez.
Shalwar kameez. Wonderful, wonderful. All right. New York or Lahore?
New York.
New York.
No offense, Lahore.
Hands down, right?
Well, I was told that if I was Pakistani, I would be a Lahori. I don't know what that means. Someone shed light. What does that mean?
I think
Shahid?
some comments will come, just shedding
Let me know.
about
Let me know. Be nice, though. Be nice, y'all.
I think the Karachi, Lahore audience, in my perspective, or the people, Lahori people are more open and accepting.
Okay. Well, I would call myself pretty loving, accepting. And
right. Karachi is, they would want to think about you 5 minutes before they respond.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's very, what's in it for me? Or, why somebody wants to know this? Or, so
we don't want to generalize.
No, not generalizing, but yeah.
It's an example.
It's an example. And I've heard it from people. So it's
Okay.
not that my understanding is that's what the response typically I hear if someone has gone to Lahore and come back, or someone has gone to Karachi and come back. All right, so continuing on that path.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. Between chai and coffee.
This is really hard. I'm conflicted.
You can say, so morning coffee, evening chai?
Yeah. How do you know?
That's a very Pakistani answer. Because
Is it? Are you kidding?
No, I think that's more of a Pakistani American answer because all our working people or corporate people.
It's like grab a coffee to go.
And
chai is like a decompress.
Exactly.
So my coffee's like, we gotta go.
Exactly.
And chai is like,
I'm done now.
Yeah.
I want to just relax and put my feet up and have a cup of chai.
Yeah, and watch some like Bollywood. I actually don't watch Bollywood dramas.
All right, so then theater versus films.
Theater.
Always.
Yeah, I actually in college roomed with DTs, and I did a lot of production and stagehand work for my college theater. Again, that goes back to that, like, being able to see how things are constructed. Like, when you strike a set and you put it back up, you understand so much more about the process. And I'm really about process. And that part of theater is just more engaging to me. I recently got to see a Broadway show, and I took my husband. It was his first Broadway show. He's addicted. He's like, let's go see another one.
Oh, wow. And how long has he been living in New York?
So he's been in New York his whole life. So he's 32 now. Mashallah. And the first Broadway show was Aladdin. Okay, ironically. It was also a job. So I was hired to promote the Broadway film. And it was honestly magical to see him kind of like light up in that way. I feel like he was kind of reliving or visiting like a part of his inner child, because he was like, wow, that was phenomenal. And I was like, yeah, you've never seen a, he was like, that was insane. And like Disney, we love Disney because of all of that carefully curated, like you smell something. Like I love immersive theater, so it's like you're watching something, you feel and you smell.
Right.
I love that more than a film.
Wonderful, wonderful. So Chandra, now tell us about, you also feature your kids in your Instagram and TikTok. Tell us how that journey started, and how do you kids take it?
So
I know
they're
pretty young. Right
yeah,
now.
they're really young. So it started off with Ava when she was kind of just born. I had a baby girl, and I loved taking pictures of the kids' milestones. And it started off as a hobby where every month my daughter would reach a new month, and I would make the number of her month in flowers and lay her down next to it.
Wow.
So and one year we went to Holland, so I found something from the local park and I made the 6. So she was 6 months in Holland. And that kind of started my journey. And she went viral when she started walking, because she was standing up and wearing a bow, walking a poodle. I remember being like, my phone's broken. Like, what's going on? The whole internet was reposting this picture. It was all over Pinterest, and people just fell in love with Ava. So Ava has her entirely own fan base. And then it started with Schwarkamies. I started to stitch Schwarkamies. This is way before Mommy and Me's were even a thing, okay? I was sourcing fabrics and stitching my own clothes.
Wow.
Yeah. And I would match her. So people
Stitching
were just...
your own clothes.
Yeah.
I mean, that, hearing from you, it's surprising to me that
Really?
there are people still doing that.
Yeah.
I thought, ever since the fashion industry and departmental stores, people won't go back to, the sui dhaga that we call.
Right. But you know what's really nice about that? I'm a firm believer of unique things that are one to you, and that's it. So when you start to wear these brands where everyone's wearing the same outfit at an event, or all the designers start to look the same, it kind of bores me a little bit. So I like to see people who do go to the fabric shops and they buy like this lace, this, and they make it themselves.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Very creative. Very creative.
And some of these girls do it, or their mother does it for them. I've seen so many content creators that it's like their nanny stitched it. And that's beautiful. Or they reinvent their mother's sari, or they reinvent a lehenga and they make a new top to it. Like, that's an heirloom piece that's rooted in the tradition, but also your mother's marriage. It's really beautiful when I see women do this. So I hope Ava gets to do some of that. Inshallah.
And tell us about your son.
So Salim was actually street casted as a child. He ended up being in the Uniqlo campaign when he was a year old, I think.
Wow.
So he booked Uniqlo's campaign. The director fell in love with him. He was one of like 1,000, and he booked the job.
Wow.
So he started doing catalog modeling for a little while. And then when the Instagram picked up, I put the reins on the print modeling because I kind of became my own company, my own LLC, my own entity. Like I was the one woman show, and my husband supports me, so I can't say.
No, so please tell us about your husband, because I understand that being a mother, 2 little kids, a traditional Pakistani in-laws, did any of those things challenge you in your journey, or were most of the people supportive about it? I think your husband has been instrumental, no doubt about it.
Well, and if he was here, he would tell you, he advocates for what he wants, and he's always been that way. So I think his parents were already sure when he said, I'm going to marry this girl. They knew he was serious, because I was even introduced at my eldest sister-in-law's wedding as Bobby, future Bobby.
Oh, wow.
So,
Bobby.
yeah, and my mother-in-law, while I was dating Savan, I'm going to put that in air quotes, because I didn't really date Savan, I dated his sisters. I don't think I dated Swan. I dated his sisters, and I feel like Sadaf and Zora will tell you, yeah, that's exactly what it was.
That's a very typical dating scene, right?
Is it?
The boy and the girl.
I'm not even Pakistani.
The boy and the girl don't talk that much as much the families do. So yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So, and because my father-in-law thought I was Pakistani, he was like, "Okay, let's get her parents over. Let's do this." It was like midnight, and I said, Baba, like, really? You're gonna have my parents come over for like chai and like rishta talk now?
No.
So there's a huge population of my following that thinks I'm arranged. There's also a huge population of my following that has, made assumptions of why I got married to him. Not all of them are positive, and that's okay because I have my truth.
Yeah.
So it's very important. I think people need to know, hold on to your truth and let people think and say what they want.
Yeah, and you really can't control that.
No.
But so, my God, it's such an interesting conversation we're having, and time is just flying by like anything. So, tell us, where does Chandra see herself in the next 3 to 5 years? How is that? What are your future plans? What are you thinking? What's up and coming?
I feel like I want to be more rooted in the East Coast. In my backyard, get more involved in community events there. I love Houston, so Houston has my heart. I'm committed. I'll come back at any time. Y'all have been amazing, seriously. And I say y'all always.
Y'all is a...
I say y'all because it's all inclusive. All inclusive. Right? Instead of you guys, it's
you guys
y'all.
Or everybody.
Yeah, I like y'all. I say y'all a lot, and if you follow me, you know that. So I might have borrowed that. But I want to see myself kind of root more in New York because I am so globally connected that I feel like I'm not even really that rooted in my own city. And I want to do that. And then slowly take over,
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, so good to have you.
Thank you.
And I know you have a very tight schedule, and we are, again, very thankful to you for making time for this.
Aww.
And, being a good sport. And again, thank you to Kashif, our solo pilot for this flying. But absolutely. So I think, Chandra, one thing is confirmed that whenever you're coming back to Houston, this studio is open for you with our hearts in our arms.
I appreciate it.
And we would love to see you again.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been really great. Honestly, I had so much fun. I do have a flight to catch, I hope.
Yes.
I hope I get on that because my
you still have it. You still have it. Yeah.
You already know it was like a 6-hour delay the first time, and then
I know.
The second time was bad too.
Second time was bad too.
Yeah, but as soon as I got here,
how was she gonna get to the rehearsal?
I was happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know if you know this, but when I got into the hotel, my brain was like, "All right, let them send your bag up without you, and get your butt downstairs." Like I was ready to just I ran to you guys. I was like, "I'm here."
Wonderful. No, hopefully you have a safe flight back.
Yes.
And give our salam to Subhan and all your kids. Lots of love to your family and everybody. I kind of feel like I already know them. I haven't met them, but we have heard all the good things about you. So take our love and mohabbat and pyar to New York. Aww. And if you don't come, we'll come.
Bahut shukriya, bahut shukriya. Thank you so much.
All right.
Assalamu alaikum and Khuda Hafiz.
Khuda Hafiz.